why I don't get emotional. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be around these people. I'm tired of everybody depending on me. I'm tired, and I'm empty. And it was just like, God, I need you. And I remember the first thing that led to this, and this is the quickest prayer that you can get God to answer for you, is God, remove everyone out of my life who is holding me back, distracting me, and stopping me from becoming more like you and walking in my purpose. I started to get disgusted with my life, and then I started to want to walk in my purpose more than I wanted to fit in, remain popular, and be needed by people who need to figure it out themselves. And so, right after that, I got drugged. Everything went left after Welcome, heirs. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Eris, and these are my confessions. This is episode 1 of my new solo podcast. I would guess I would call it a podcast. I never really saw myself having a pod. No, I did. I saw myself doing more of interviews a long time ago, and it's gonna be interviewing rappers and upcoming. But God took me in a whole nother direction. And since it is Vlogmas, I'm going to do Vlogmas a different way. My last vlog that I did was probably the last vlog you'll see me do for a very long time. Because this is what God wants me to do. And I have to be obedient. So, this is episode 1 of my confessions. And these are my confessions. And in the comments, I would like everybody to give their experiences based on certain things that I talk about today. But I also want y'all to give me topics for these 31 days to speak on. Whether it be types of men today, this shouldn't date, my view on why I became celibate. That's going to be one of the upcoming videos. Just anything y'all want me to talk about, I'm an open book, and I don't mind talking about it and sharing my life experiences with y'all. So, yes, today's podcast episode is about why I decided to give my life to Christ. And really, I was gonna say I decided to, but really God chose me from the time I was a child. When you chosen, you're always the one out of the group that's gonna get in trouble, that's gonna see the consequences, that's gonna gonna be held accountable. You're always the one that feels different, stand out. People think something's off about you, but they love you. You're always the one with that extra light. You always the one with different ambitions, goals, and dreams than other people. And yeah, God chose you. Now, many are called, but few are chosen. And I feel like the people that God chooses are the people who are going to answer the phone when he calls. 2023 was a very, very, or was it 2022? The whole doggone 2022 and 23. 2023 and 2022 was a crazy year. A crazy couple of years. That's when I started my transition. And I just feel like, I went through so much. I could feel myself begin to change when I was hanging around my best friends since high school. I only had one friend, and I just started to get this discomfort. That's how I knew God was pulling at me. It was like, bro, we going out to the club every weekend, and I want to be studying for business plans. I want to be making YouTube content And like, you will know, I'm gonna make another video about like choosing your friends, or however I'm gonna word it. Help me with the wording. It's just like, I was around my best friend every day, and every day she was calling me, talking about drama, mess. It felt like I was feeding an entity, and she was so attached to me, and we were so like codependent on each other. Everything, like, she would call me 3 and 4 times a day, and it will always be mess and drama. And even though I hated it, I still engaged in it heavily because I always wanted her to feel like she could come to me. I always, like, you know, those attachment styles, like, I want to feel needed and you need me. And so to keep being needed, I'm going to keep, and this isn't like, this happens in relationship with men too, but this was just like a girlfriend of mine. And, not like homosexual, like my homegirl. Anyway, she would drag me out to the clubs every weekend, like everything, like she was becoming so draining. And so I remember I started therapy at the time, and I was so excited because I just looked on my insurance plan, and I called and I was like, what therapy do I qualify for? I need to be in therapy. I got tired of smoking. Me stopping smoking was crazy. Like, oh, that's another video. See, I need to be writing these down. Somebody be my moderator and write these down in the comments. I was tired of smoking. I was tired of being angry and aggravated with my kids, angry and aggravated with my mom, secretly angry with my friend because she wasn't changing and growing. And my therapist was like, have you talked to her? Have you let her know that, you know, we need to start having different type of conversations? So I kind of tried to switch the conversation. I was like, friend, like, we need to talk about more positive stuff. Like, we always like calling me talking about folks, and I'm talking about the queen of mess, drama, keeping up with what's going on in society, backstabbing people, two-faced. And because I sat there and listened, I was just as accountable. I'm just as two-faced. I'm just as messy. So don't think I'm putting this all on her, because me playing a role in it makes me even so much as listening, thinking, you know, I'm just letting her vent. I should have been the friend with boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I should have been the person like, hey, you know, don't talk to me about such and such. Because you also, when you get around her, you're smiling in her face. And when I'm around her, I'm smiling in her face. But I'm letting you sit up here and say XYZ about her to me. That makes me a snake. And I don't want this to happen to me. Like, you have to learn how to, like, you have to learn how to stand up. And with setting boundaries, it's more about like learning that if my boundaries cause you to move away from me, then you're not supposed to be around me anyway. Like, it's the fear of losing people that will make you not have boundaries. Baby, I'm going hard. We all over the place. And I just feel like, and this is a form of therapy, y'all should really try it. I just really feel like my fear of losing people will make me not set boundaries, because if I tell them that I don't want it, then they're not going to want to be my friend anymore. So anyway, I was telling her, like, I want to live differently. I'm really like, want my business to not just be at the local flea market. I was the only person in my group of friends with a business, and I was selling my products every weekend at the flea market. God had just started telling me, like, it's time to move, it's time to stop, quit the job, focus on healing. And like, you know, even when I started that, people were like, okay, but how are you going to make ends meet? How are you going to live while you're doing this? And I was like, if God is telling me and pulling me to stop working, then clearly he's going to provide for me. But being around people who did not believe made it just as hard. So it was making it even more uncomfortable to be around these people. The mess, the drama. And when I say she would drag me out to the club, I could not say no. Like, if I say, I really don't want to go to the club this weekend, she was gonna buy me an outfit and pull up to my house and be like, bitch, I got your outfit, put this shit on, you know, just like that. And I like, well, she's here in my house. Like, she will guilt trip you into going every single weekend to the club. And I just did not want to, I don't want to drink. I was tired so bad of smoking weed, because I was tired of looking at myself in the mirror and going, bruh, like, I literally wake up. The first thing I do when I get out of bed is go in my closet, close the door, and smoke, just to be able to relax and have a good, happy morning with my kids. Like, I realized that if I did not have that substance, I got to the point where if I did not have that substance, I was an angry, hostile person. I wasn't able to deal with my children without being a hostile. And when you have all that built up anger, it's your body trying to tell you, get out of this environment, stop what you're doing. And I'm thinking that smoking is making me better, and what it was actually doing was making me more paranoid, making me more dependent on it. Like, it heightens everything you're feeling. So when it wears off, it's times 10, because now you're just like, I want some more. I was tired of that unnecessary dopamine addiction, and I was like, I can get this high by doing something else. I started waking up 5 o'clock in the morning. I would do yoga. I would try to journal before. And this is like, at this time, I hadn't got drugged yet. And that would really make me feel better. I felt like I had an extra hour in the morning. Just in peace and quiet before everybody started throwing their knees at me. I was taking care of my mom. I just felt like it was just so much. And then when God did allow me to start working, because I swear God took care of my bills for me for almost 2 years. And it was nothing but God, like, for almost 2 years. And so I guess I wasn't using the time he gave me to focus on what I was supposed to be doing, because I was allowing so many other people to become distractions. I was allowing so many other people to change my opinion and just throw off my thought process. And basically what it is distraction. So he did bless me to get my dream job, and I started working for a millionaire who had her own business. And man, that's the longest I had a job for a long time, because I was always one of them people who would quit a job every 3 months, because, like, baby, who are you talking to? Anytime you try to start treating me like I just gotta be here, I don't just gotta be here. Like, I don't care about money like that, as long as, like, I can get my bills paid. I always, like, lived a humble life. I ain't get my nails done and that stuff. Like, I ain't never been one of them girls who just kept all that up for real, because it's like, I'm not you need, like, overtime for that, like, to be keeping that up and still taking care of your kids. Like, you a one woman household, some things had to be sacrificed. And so I just got to a point where I was like, God, I feel empty. There is a heavy emptiness in me. And wow, I'm getting emotional. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be around these people. I'm tired of everybody depending on me. I'm tired, and I'm empty. And it was just like, God, I need you. And I remember the first thing that led to this, and this is the quickest prayer that you can get God to answer for you, is, God, remove everyone out of my life who is holding me back, distracting me, and stopping me from becoming more like you and walking in my purpose. I started to get disgusted with my life, and then I started to want to walk in my purpose more than I wanted to fit in, remain popular, and be needed by people who need to figure it out themselves. And so right after that, I got drugged. Everything went left after I got drugged. I'm not going to talk heavily on it, because it's not the story time for that. Just know everybody fell out my life. My boyfriend at the time, my best friend, she did some super shady, low down things. Like, God just started revealing to me everything. And so I removed all those people. All those people got removed out of my life. And then after that is when I got my job working for my boss, who was a millionaire. And it was just like being up under her. She was so disciplined. Like, she's so disciplined. And it just was good to have somebody like doing the thing you want to do, the thing you want to be successful, being up under that person, watching them like go hard. Like, that's crazy. Like, I can do this too. Every day that I was with her, I felt like I could do that too. And she was very generous. But baby, when I say she had those boundaries, like, it took me to get up under her to know how to carry myself and move if I want to be. And I didn't pick up everything, because you still have to have your own, you know, way about yourself. You still have to, like, you still have to have your own identity, your own personality. You still have to know, okay, some things, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Take what you need and leave the rest. So I would see, even though she had all the money in the world, like, you just not finna be calling her phone, begging her for money, trying to get this, trying to do that. When I say her boundaries, her privacy, you don't know nothing about, like, my boss, her name is Brandy. You're not finna know nothing about her. And if you know something about her, she's gonna know exactly who told her that. She don't play about keeping her business. And she a Virgo like me. And so, big boss, big B, I got up under her and I just became isolated. It was just me and my mom. But my mom was staying with me and my kids. And it was just like, me and my mom's relationship was so toxic too. And I was starting to get very comfortable working that job, God handling my finances and everything, and letting my relationship problems with my mother consume me. And so I feel like that's when God was like, okay, it's time for you to completely get out of Mobile. I did not know what steps I was going to take moving forward. I did not know where I was going to live, and how I was going to move or nothing. And God let me know it was time to leave my job. And I was obedient, and I was really scared, because I was like, God, this is my dream job. This is the closest I'm going to get to knowing a millionaire, to being able to, I'm good at my job. I'm her number one top dog. Like, she trusts me with everything. And now you want me to leave, and this is the season where everything gets to booming and whoop doo doo. And God was like, do you want to be up under a millionaire, or are you trying to be a millionaire? And I was like, wow, I want to be the millionaire. And he was like, you're gonna have to trust me. When I say trusting God, like, you ain't trusting God, or you ain't really getting a relationship with God if the stuff that you're doing, it don't seem crazy. Like, you wouldn't look at somebody else and be like, oh, you tripping. Like, it's just like, when God starts to call you, everything, you just have to know and be prepared. Things are going to be uprooted in your life, but God removes and replaces with better in his timing. So if he's removing you out of a situation, or removing you from a group of people, and you might not get your new set of people for a while, because every day it starts to become, okay, you said you want this, you want to walk in your purpose, you want to break those generational curses, you want to be somebody that's an inspiration to the world, you want to live and walk in integrity. You're going to have to shed. You're going to have to shed everything off, and you're going to have to grow, and you're going to have to appreciate each step of the way that he's taking you. And you're going to have to learn to love yourself, and you're going to have to heal, and you're going to have to do the inner work, because I'm going to put you in a place where you can't do nothing but that. So after I left that job, I got evicted. I had nowhere to go. And I reached out to my godmom in Texas, and I was honest about what was going on, because I was a person who had so much pride. To tell somebody, I've been living on my own since I was 17 years old. I've always had my own place, own apartment. Even when I was a roommate with my best friend, you know, I paid for my room in her crib or whatever. So to have to tell somebody I got evicted and I left my job because God told me to, and that's why I can't pay my bills, and that's why I'm evicted, it just broke me. And, you know, she was like, well, you can come stay with me in Texas. And I moved to Texas, and God had me, like, completely dependent on him. And because, like, he still told me, like, you're not getting a job. You're going to focus. You're going to focus on this inner healing. You're going to focus on listening to me. You're going to focus on waking up and seeking first the kingdom of God and having all things added unto you. And that scripture right there has been my life for the past 5 to 6 months since I moved to Texas. I have to wake up, seek out God, and when you seek God, you will find him. And there's different ways to seek him. I started off, I got this little book of prayers, open one, read one every day. And then I find me like a prophetic word, Shantia Deja, I listen to her, and they'll be in alignment. In the car ride, I listen to a Mike Todd sermon, and it'll be in alignment. A lot of my journey start with just listening to other people, seeing how it aligns and affects my life, and then taking heed to it. And then it's like once you listen, like okay, this is what I want you to do today. You'll get this thought in your head. The voice of God, I need to do one on that, how to hear God. God is like a thought that pops into your head that you know wasn't yours. Like this morning and yesterday and the day before, God was like, I want you to start a solo podcast, and I want you to get on here, and I want you to talk about your experience with different things and a different topic every single day. The day before yesterday, I had that thought, and I heard it, and I was like, I know this ain't me, because I want to be a vlogger. I want to be that girl. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was like, that's not what I want you to do, though. It's not what I want you to do. And so, yesterday I heard it again, but this time I heard like a message about obedience. And when I open my prayer book, it's like, see what's right in this picture. And then today I'm listening to Shantia Deja, and she's like, this is your 31 days of favor, and for 31 days you need to give as you receive. And so she was talking about how there's so many different ways to give. You can give your testimony, your experience. You can give, just find a way to give to others. And I was like, confirmation. Okay, I'm going to give to people by sharing the things I went through, the process I went through, and that's what, like, I realized God will tell you to use what's in your hands, and you don't think you have nothing in your hands, but you have a story, you have a history, you have a testimony. I've always been a friend that people come to me for advice. People come to me they can depend on me. I've always been an open book, someone who is good at talking to people. Just like, I always feel like the mentor out of my group. And so God made me realize that a lot of our purpose is just to love and share our experience, and that's enough to change and save people's lives and get them through their experiences. Because when I think back, the reason that I've been able to change and grow is because I've listened to other people. Pastor Mike Todd wasn't always Pastor Mike Todd. Sarah Jakes wasn't always Sarah Jakes. They all decided one day to get up and just share their experience, and then God starts pouring into you. I think a lot of people struggle with becoming a Christian or giving your life to Christ is that you think everything needs to just be given up overnight. And this is getting long, so I'm gonna be ending this out soon. It's not that way. First, God is love. God first. The first thing that you're gonna experience is just Him being grateful that you want to be in His presence, grateful that you decided to stop going your way and follow His path. And so the closer you get to Him, this is how it works. Nothing happens overnight. You think, oh, I gotta stop smoking, I gotta stop drinking, I gotta stop listening to music. That stuff all just falls off over time. The closer that you get to God, the more you'll look at that stuff and you'll be like, it'll just start like losing the flavor. Like, it's like losing the taste for something that you had a taste for. It just slowly stops being important to you. It just slowly starts to shed off. It just slowly starts to fall off. It took me a long time to stop smoking weed. And I was still listening and thinking, y'all gotta look at the people God used in the Bible. David was a murderer, adulterer. Paul was a Christian murderer. One of them had temper issues. Moses was unconfident. Thomas was very doubtful. Like, the people that God uses are always the people who have been through the most, who have the most issues, because He wants people to see, like, I can take you and change your heart. And that's something that I also pray for every day. Like, God, change my heart posture. Give me the desires that you have for me. I didn't want to get on. I wanted to be a vlogger. If y'all see my history of my vlogs, I've been vlogging for 3 years on YouTube and ain't blowed up yet. And I guarantee doing this for 31 days is going to end up being the most successful thing I ever did on YouTube. And He gives you these downloads the more you learn lessons. Like, the biggest lesson you got to learn is being grateful for where you are at the time. So even with no job, coming out here feeling like a burden, bringing my 2 kids, God was like, I want you to learn how to receive. And I want you to learn how to trust me. Listen, love, and just be obedient. And trust and love and get in gratitude. And it's just a process of the same. Love, trust. And so you will have to, listen. Like, I couldn't tell you to be able to forgive everybody. I literally had to watch the Pastor Mike Todd Forgiveness University series. There were so many people I was holding unforgiveness and hatred for in my life. And then I was like, for what? Like, God really wants you to be unbothered. If you look at how Jesus was and stuff, just like Jesus so unbothered. He wants you to be an unbothered queen. I saw it on TikTok. She was talking about how God just like, love them anyway. Forgive them because it's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. It's just them. Just show them love so that they know when they wake up and then they start there was people who showed me love when I was acting a fool. So what made me give my life to Christ? At the end of the day, it was the fact that I felt like I could either keep going in the wrong direction and end up 35 going in the wrong direction, or I could start at 25. I'm 27 now. I feel like I've been on this journey for a couple years, 2 years. Or I could, at 25, go ahead and get these people out, go through my little heartbreaking grievance, go ahead and uproot all this stuff, learn myself and grow now. And by the time I'm 35, I'm going to be walking in my purpose with God. I'm going to be on my way to heaven. My kids going to look at me and they're going to be like, bro, I'm so proud of her. Like, I remember when she would wake up in the morning and tell us, don't nobody talk to me until I come out my closet, and she'll come out smelling like smoke. You think my kids don't remember that? My son probably don't, but I know my daughter does. And so to be able to let her see me become a new person, and she's only 7, but you know, these kids are smart. I was like, I can either keep going in the direction that I'm choosing, or I can follow God's plan and ride this thing out. And at the end, there's always a fulfilled promise. God's word will never return void. He promises you a life of purpose and peace. And now, if you make it peaceful, is it gonna be easy? He didn't promise it would be easy, but he promised if you take this journey with him, and if you give your life to him, and if you let him lead you in the right direction, he does promise that on the other side, you'll be a transformed person. And he be promising wealth. The meek shall inherit the earth. Anybody who seeks God first, these things will all be added to you. He promises to take care of you. I can either try to take care of myself and be struggling and barely have enough, or I can go through whatever I need to go to get to the other side and be able to bless a whole bunch of people who needed somebody to step in for them. And so that's what it's all about. And that's why I chose to give my life to God. Don't worry about, oh, I gotta stop smoking. Bro, I stopped smoking 3 times before I start. When they say third time's a charm, I stopped smoking 3 times before I stopped smoking completely. I stopped smoking when I moved to Texas. A lot of times the problem is the environment. You can't grow if you're not in the right environment to grow. I can't believe I'm getting emotional. Hey, y'all should do these like vocal diaries. Like, even if you don't like post stuff like this, I think this is a great form of therapy. Just start with a question and then start to answer it and let it flow. But yeah, that's why I chose to give my life to God. I was tired, I was disgusted, I felt empty, and I was ready to start. I was ready to stop running. And I think I'm gonna put that at the front of the video. Anyways, I love y'all. Be safe. You have a blessed day. I love y'all. God loves y'all. See you next time. See you tomorrow with another one of these vlogs. Love you. Bye.